Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, is a very happy Jewish holiday that commemorates the rededication of the temple after the desecration by the Assyrian Greeks. It's also about the rededication of the Jewish spirit. And today we're going to be talking about Hanukkah, its origins, its traditions, and especially the tradition of gift giving. How did this tradition come about? How essential is gift giving to Hanukkah? And if so, what kinds of gifts should we be giving our children? In just a minute, we're going to talk about all that and more. Joining me in our studio today for this discussion of Hanukkah is Trudy Brodsky, who is Director of Programming at the Cole Jewish Teacher Center, a really wonderful teaching center that is right here in Wilmette, but really known nationwide. And they care a great deal about Hanukkah there. Tell us, how did the tradition of gift giving get to be part of Hanukkah, Trudy?
Well, you're asking me a question that's rather difficult to answer. Exactly when it started, I'm not sure that I know, but I do know this, that there has been a change in the gift-giving practices that Jews do now that they really didn't do previously. I know back in Europe, in the shtetl, in the ghettos, Jews would give gelt, Hanukkah gelt, and then you could play dreidel with your Hanukkah gelt, which is your money, basically. Okay. There was variation on the theme in the United States where they had money that was chocolate. So you could open up and you could eat your gelt, right? This is very Jewish.
But then at some point it became, 8 gifts a night and a big consumer holiday.
I think that part of the growth that we see in Hanukkah is in direct reaction to Christmas, which comes at the same time, and which is a very visual holiday, a very tactile holiday. It's exciting, and the Jewish kids, I know when I was growing up, really yearned to have something that exciting. We didn't care about the fact that it was the birth of Jesus, but we wanted all of the glamour.
Every kid wanted a Hanukkah bush.
A Hanukkah bush, right. Those parents that gave in to the kids wanting a Christmas tree would carry it a step further and just would call it a Hanukkah bush, and, somehow or other that felt better. But I think you see a difference today in the way families are handling Hanukkah, and I think that a lot of it has to do with the return to roots, which we see as a big movement, certainly in America and perhaps throughout the diaspora.
Well, for those Jewish parents, Jewish families that are seeing this as a way to celebrate their returning to their roots, what's the appropriate way for them to celebrate Hanukkah?
Well, I think that the way that we see them doing it, we have a number of groups that come into the Cole Jewish Teacher Center that are looking for ways to create Hanukkah in their home. Mm-hmm. They're looking not for the Christmas trees, but they're looking for the decorations. They want to make their homes feel festive, look festive, but Jewishly rather than Christianly. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we do very well at the Cole is that we have family-oriented programs that families will come together and create things on a given theme. And December 14th, as a matter of fact, from 4 to 5:30, we're going to be having a Hanukkah family workshop.
Well, what kinds of things would you have the families come in and make that...
Oh, gee, I'm glad you asked that.
I thought you might be.
For instance, we talk about gifts. I don't need my glasses for this. And this is a gift dreidel. We have the design, the children will come together, and one of the things that you can do, you see, you can do all sorts of things with this wonderful little gift dreidel. There's a kosher lollipop in there because we have to be careful about kashrut. We pull from all over.
Explain the significance, please, of the dreidel. It is a traditional Hanukkah gift, but what's involved?
Well, the way it's come down to us is that in the Assyrian Greeks trying to eradicate Judaism, not Jews, but Judaism, everyone was supposed to become Greek, and the Jews were very uncooperative in this aspect, or at least some of them were uncooperative in this aspect, that in order to study the traditions, to study the Torah, they would have to go off into caves. And if they were found, it was really a disaster. And so the Assyrian Greeks could understand gambling. That they could understand. Learning Torah they couldn't understand. And so the dreidel was a form of gambling. You see, it was a top, and you turn it, and it landed here, and you had to put maybe so much ante up, you know, that kind of a thing. And so the Jews would be studying in these caves, and if a Roman, an Assyrian Greek happened to walk by, well, they'd whip out the dreidel and, you know, all relax around the table, and that was fine, you see, and then that was kosher, and they could continue, and they had no problems. And this is the way that a lot of studying was able to be done.
It's interesting. So it's still a teaching tool today, and
Right.
now you disguise it as a game.
Right, right. It is a game. The children love it. It's one of the genuine things that you can do to have Hanukkah in your home.
Okay.
And, you know, again, the Hanukkah gelt was, I think, you know, part of this whole dreidel system.
Okay.
But now what you can do, given a gift dreidel, is you can fill it with candy, or you could fill it with toys, or
Let's
whatever.
also say fruits and nuts.
Well,
Other
they
than
have to be
candy,
sort of
right.
small fruits, but nuts
Okay.
definitely.
All right.
But you could go further Jewishly with the dreidel even, and that is that you could give it for tzedakah, so that remembering children in a hospital or old people in a nursing home,
Now this
that
really
you can
gets into
create this for them.
Okay. Now this is the issue we wanted to bring up about how you get beyond the gift giving, the commercialism of the gift gimme gimme, to this higher notion of Hanukkah that I know you believe in, which is the rededication of the Jewish spirit.
Right.
So what can a family do to bring that light into their house?
They can, first of all, do things as a family, because this is a Jewish tradition. Judaism has been and always will be a family-oriented religion, a people-oriented religion, because you go into the larger family of the community.
Agreed. Now let's get down to
Okay,
to
so
real
what we
details.
say is that you can study Jewishly together. You can create things for learning together. I have some games, if you
good.
will.
Visual aids.
Visual aids.
This
Here we
is the
go.
teacher.
Yes, this is definitely the teacher.
Well, but it's very important that you kind of dig in and have this.
Absolutely,
shared
absolutely. And,
experience.
you know, you can learn. These are just a little drip mat. I don't know
Okay,
which
that's
camera
fine.
wants to handle that.
This is the.
But this you put under your Chanukiah, and the family makes this. Now, we've laminated it so that, you know, it can be used over and over again.
Okay. By the way, now this reminds me of the candles, the lights, reminds me of the so-called miracle of Hanukkah, the burning of the lamp for 8 days. Now you tell me that this is a myth, that it may not be true, huh?
Well, there is some question about it, because it really doesn't appear in the writings until about the 3rd century, after everything happened. And so there is a feeling that this may indeed be a myth.
But the notion of the candle burning forever is sort of, has
It's
a lovely metaphoric
That's
meaning.
exactly right. That as long as in your heart you keep the light of Judaism going, then your people can't be destroyed.
Now there is the lesson of Hanukkah. So how do you relate that through this?
Well, these are, of course, the lights. Now, when we do
This is a
family
mobile.
Sunday, this is a mobile, and I got it messed up here.
That's okay. We get the idea. It's
right.
very nice. And so
But
people
it's the
play-
idea that for the little children, all right, because our family Sundays will service anywhere from 3-year-olds up to 5th or 6th graders.
How do you keep teenagers interested? There's a tough one.
Well, the teenagers, what we have found rather interesting is that, I don't know about older teenagers, but certainly the 5th, 6th graders, sometimes the 7th graders, get very involved in doing something on a different level that is really the same thing. For instance,
Okay.
the older ones like to do this kind of a thing. You're talking about lights, and I seem to be pulling out all of the Chanukiot.
Oh, this is lovely.
Cutting on this is not an easy task with the lions. These are the lions of Judah at the bottom. I don't know if you can
You
see
have
it.
to use your imagination
Right,
somewhat, but
right.
I can go with that. It's
These are the
lovely.
lion is facing in, and that's his tail. And you add up the candles, and it equals your 9, your shamash in the middle. But that they can get involved in something like this. We have, let
Very
me
nice.
just give you all these goodies as we're going along.
Okay, you see any trends in gift giving for this Hanukkah?
Yes, I truly do. The kinds of things that I see going on are that parents are taking a greater interest in the meaning of the gift.
Rather than the price, you mean?
Right, right. Well, sometimes you know, the kids can really get carried away with the price on these things. Okay. But what the families are doing is that they are looking to see, is it a teaching gift? Will the child either learn something Judaically, or will there be a growth in terms of motor coordination or sequencing? That's that kind of a teaching thing.
That's great. So this is the perfect introduction to what will be the next part of the show, which is all about specific toys that you have at the Kohl Center, and even a toy inventor. But before we go on and meet them, and thank Trudy Brodsky for joining us, we'd like you to see some other interesting expression of the spirit of Hanukkah.
Now this is what really gets me thinking. Not about wars or tyrants or victories, or even latkes. It's this light, this Hanukkah light, a spiritual light, that burns within all the Jewish people. They kept on burning for 8 days and 8 nights and 2,000 years. It's this ceaseless flame of Jewish faith and freedom that keeps us closer together, whether we're in Chicago or Tel Aviv, in Moscow or Modi'in, close enough together to celebrate this festival of light.
Welcome back to the Toys and Games segment of the show, where kids are having a good time playing with games. Some of these games, toys they might even be getting for Hanukkah. It's difficult on Hanukkah. How do you choose a toy or a game for your child? It's a question that we've gone to some experts for some answers. I'd like you to meet Vicki Juran, who is the manager of the Kohl Learning Store, which is really a superb learning center up in Wilmette. Vicki, parents are faced with so many choices around the holidays. How do you choose a great game for your child?
At the Kohl Center, we have unique toys. Our toys cannot be found just anywhere, and we've gone to a lot of trouble to choose these toys.
Okay.
The toys all have some sort of educational value. We believe that children learn through play, and we want the children and the parents to interact together in the play. So the toys that I've chosen here are toys that parents and children can interact with together. The children can learn to express their feelings or use their imagination, develop skills.
Okay. And what do parents learn in that process?
Parents learn how children are feeling, how children, what things are good for children at what ages. They'll see whether a child's having difficulty with something, what skills develop at certain ages, different skills develop.
So though it looks like playing, you're really bonding, your relationship is developing,
right,
it seems, between the parent and child. Now, the toys over here, some of these are for, as you've explained to me, younger children.
Correct.
What makes them for younger children?
The toys in this section here, they come from our early childhood section. And the toys are appealing to younger children because they're visually appealing. They have different colors, different shapes.
Okay.
They're also...
Let's see here. So this is clearly different shapes. And what is a kid supposed to do with this toy, for instance?
Okay.
The child, I should say.
This toy can be used for sorting, for naming objects. Here you can either say, name the color, green, blue, yellow, red, or name the shape, triangle.
Very good. Now I see you have a wonderful, this is a puppet, as this is a puppet, which you have in your early learning section. What do kids get? I've always loved to play with puppets as a child. What does a child get from them?
Okay, the puppets have a dual purpose. The first is that children can pretend to be something else. Like you have the elephant, you can pretend to be an elephant.
I'm not pretending, this is really my arm.
Or you can pretend to just take on a different characteristic or a different quality in your person by using a puppet. Or we like it when the parents interact with the puppets also and take on a puppet, and maybe they can show the child how they're feeling through the puppet.
I see. And it's particularly important, I think, around holiday times when you can get very busy with things other than your family. And it's a good time to reconnect. What about some of the other toys here? Now, this is a train set.
Right.
This is for the older child.
This is for children 3 and above, and it's by Brio. The train set that we have here is just a circular track, and the train's on it.
Yeah.
Now, with this train track, we have other tracks that you can build on. The children can expand the tracks, get stations, police stations, train stations,
Okay.
move the train around,
now there's
pretend to be a conductor.
Now there isn't anything really connected to Hanukkah about the train, but I do see you have a dreidel book, a menorah here.
Right.
Now, in what sense is this a toy or a game?
Okay, this is part of the learning store and part of the Cole Jewish Teacher Center. And with this, you get a block, you get the cubes, and you get the bolts.
I see.
And the child will create the menorah or the Hanukkah, either with a parent, without a parent, with siblings, and make it their own Hanukkah.
I see. So
So
it's one of those
you get
toys.
the raw materials at the Cole Center,
Nice.
and you build it.
No
on your own at
batteries,
home.
though. You don't need batteries.
Batteries are not included
That's
because
good.
they're not needed.
That's great. Now, you, books and things, you also recommend that parents sit with the children and go through the books?
Right. I believe that interaction is very important. I think that the children and the parents can spend quality time together when interacting with the toys. The books I have here, one of them is a holiday pop-up and one is a Hanukkah story, and it tells the story of Hanukkah, and the other one would tell you not only about Hanukkah, but about all the other Jewish holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And the colors are vibrant, the children love them,
That's
something
important.
exciting happens. You want to get a reaction out of the child. You want the child to like the colors, to like the feeling, to use their different senses.
Okay.
Um,
Let me ask you a question. If a child is not responding to a toy in that way, are you better off putting it away, or do you kind of continue to ease the child into play?
I would see, it depends. If the toy might be beyond the child or might be boring the child.
Yeah.
So I would check first with maybe a consultant at Cole and see if the toy is doing what it's supposed to do. If your child is not playing with it and it's something that you want the child to develop, you can push it, but I don't believe in pushing. I think that when they're ready for it, they'll play with the toy.
That's really true in learning generally. I suppose if you push too hard, you really can have a negative effect on the
Right.
child. Okay, show it. Now, this looks like it is involving Hebrew. Does this teach Hebrew language to children?
Okay, this game is a Hebrew Scrabble game. So we're working on language development and reading skills and vocabulary skills with this game. This company, Orda, and right here I have Buki, are Israeli toy companies. And they're very high quality toys. They happen to be. They have toys in English and in Hebrew.
Uh-huh.
So depending on the different needs of the family or of the child, you can choose.
Very nice. Now, when you talk about interesting toys, we have a wonderfully interesting toy, really a game, I suppose, in blocks and marbles. Now, we also have the inventor of this game, of this toy, Mark Lawner, here with us, along with some wonderful children you've already seen playing. I'd like to go down and join the kids and meet Mark and find out what's involved in inventing a wonderful toy like blocks and marbles. Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Marilyn.
Mark Lawner, come,
How are you?
Come join us. And,
Okay.
and the kids. Now, this is your toy. This is blocks and marbles.
That's right.
First of all, before you tell me how it works or how you play with it, where does someone get the idea for a toy, a game? Where did you get the idea for this?
Well, I think there's probably two reasons. One is I'm the kind of guy that has to invent 3 things every day or I'm not happy.
Okay.
I did come up with this one day, and at the same time I was trying to turn my kids on to creativity. And I wanted something rather than disciplines to just take their natural creativity and turn them on to that whole process of creative mechanics.
Instead of what? What were the influences that you felt weren't giving them the creative experience?
Right. Well, I think it's real obvious today that instead of enjoying what we do, so many people are just enjoying what we have. And the real secret to life to me is that you enjoy what you do. Can you imagine if everyone brought as much enthusiasm to what they do as kids do while they're playing? It would just be much better there.
It's interesting, as an adult, how do you keep that spirit of play in your everyday? It's important, although the career that you have is toy inventor. You must give vent to your wanting to play.
I've been in the creative arts all my life, that's true. But in everything we do, it's bringing an enthusiasm to what you do. You're creative in what you do. In all walks of life, we're creative.
How does this game in particular, blocks and marbles, give that experience to kids?
children are full of creativity. Otherwise, they have insatiable curiosities. They have uninhibited imaginations and unlimited energy. That's creativity. And if you can feed that with tools like this, creative learning toys, then they'll develop this enthusiasm for creativity and it'll never leave.
Well, okay, sounds good. I feel enthusiasm here for this. These kids have been playing with this game for a very long time and are rarely looking up. Before I ask them what they like about it, there are probably principles of physics working here and all kinds of sort of an intellectual basis for this game that makes it an educational toy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, of course, you could say there's spatial relationships, sequential relationships, and so on. Those are all fancy words. Children, when they're developing, are just they're curious about 3 dimensions, about shapes and forms, and this is naturally in them.
All right.
It's in the developmental process, the developmental growth process.
All right, now I'm going to cut to a much quicker question. What do you like about this game? First of all, tell us who you are.
Laura Merkin.
Laura, you've been playing with this for quite a while. You seem to like it. What are you feeling here? What do you like about it?
Well, the more you play with it, the bigger it gets.
That's good. All right.
And
Fair enough.
You could make it taller or bigger, or you could connect two things. And you could do lots of things.
Now, excuse me, tell me your name. Joey? Joey, how do the marbles work here?
Show us how the marbles work, Joe.
So you put the marble in the top and it sits there. That can't be right. There it goes.
There we go.
All right. Oh, do you see what is happening here?
Now that's a masterpiece, an architectural masterpiece.
I would say. Who built this? Who built that tower?
Joey did.
All right, Joey. Joey, did you play with blocks at home?
Yeah.
You like them?
Yeah.
What do you like about them?
You could build stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Now tell me your name.
Harry.
Harry. Well, we can't. Harry, you got to turn around if we want to see you here. There. He's definitely turning around. Harry, you're having a good time with this. What's special about this toy?
I don't know.
Well, you've got time to think about it. Sammy, you want to say something that's special about this toy?
You could build stuff and you could put marbles through it, and I just like it.
He just likes it. From the inventor's point of view, this toy's been, how long has this been out?
I started it about 2.5 years ago. I started in my father-in-law's barn and made a few sets and took them to a fair. And the kids loved them. And from there on, I started building a small company. And it's just grown and grown and grown. And now they're available in all specialty toy stores that sell creative learning toys.
How, there's a lot of kind of negative publicity to violent toys. Clearly, this falls in the category of non-violent toy. How important is that to you?
Well, that's, of course, what I'm trying to defeat is the violent toys, the conflict. And conflict is really over possessions. And creativity is on the opposite side of that. Creativity is self-rewarding.
Okay.
It's what I make and what I do that brings me reward. And that's what creativity is. That's what my aim is to turn kids on to creativity. And this is a very elemental learning tool to do that.
Okay, I'm going to talk to some of these kids. Let's see now. Lauren? Who's Lauren here? Lauren, that's you. Lauren, do you know what creativity is? No. Tell me what you like about well, first of all, you're playing with something else. You're playing with a standard, non-blocks and marbles, but this is Play-Doh. Is this Play-Doh? And are you making something?
I'm just fooling around.
Just fooling around. Fooling around sounds good.
Blocks and marbles is also the type of game where you can add different things into it and at different ages. I was saying that we have children who count the blocks before they can start building.
Okay.
And then it's a sequential type of game where they can go up and build higher mazes as they get older, as they develop further. It's a toy that the kids don't get bored with. It will last the whole 8 days of Hanukkah.
And I guess the idea that it can't break is nice. And so often you get stuck with toys that you begin to love and they just fall apart.
That's right. One other real interesting thing about this is that adults love it too. What happens is you have the adults and the children playing together. There's an interaction there that I think is real neat about this.
Tell me your name. Siri. Siri? Tell me, do you have a favorite toy? No? Not a favorite toy? Do you like dolls? You do like dolls. Do you have a favorite doll? No. Okay. This could be your favorite doll. Tell me your name. What's your name? Jessica. Jessica's found a new use for the marbles. She made a Play-Doh. What is this, a basket?
No.
What is it?
A nest.
It's a nest. Oh, then what's inside the nest?
Babies.
Little babies, otherwise known.
Bird. Chickens. Chickens, little baby chickens.
Little baby chickens.
Because, you know, if chickens were warm, and decided to put them in a nest so that they would get warmer.
Oh, they're warmer now. That's creativity. That goes back to the idea of creativity.
Is this creativity?
What have you built there? What have you made, Sammy?
I've made a marble creativity building.
Oh, very nice. It looks good
It's
to
a
me.
marble building.
Put the. How does the marble go onto the building?
It goes onto the building.
In the usual way. Well, tossing it around. You know, wooden
I know
toys just have
how.
such a nice feeling. Being here with these kids enjoying it. As the inventor, Mark Warner, shows us how, oh, look at this, how this
It
works.
goes
I want to,
this way.
okay, I want to thank Sammy and all
There
the
we go.
kids, and Mark and Vicki for being here today. And before we go, we're going to show you a kind of our Hanukkah gift to you, and thank you very much for joining us here today. I'm Marilynn Preston. Shalom.